Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Gurave Namaha.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Runadhanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhi Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaite Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. So 11th chapter is titled The Universal Form of the Lord. Universal Form of the Lord. So in this chapter, Lord gives the privilege of seeing this very, the universal form of the Lord to Arjuna. He gives special eyes to see. So last week, we discussed until when Arjuna requested Lord to reveal this universal form, and we discussed the purpose why Arjuna asked. Arjuna asked because Krishna is claiming to be God and all of that. So he want to make sure nobody in the future would claim God, would not only claim God, when he claims, he can also show the universal form. Because so many Babas are there today who claim to be God, but they cannot really show universal form. Arjuna asks Krishna to show universal form so that he can establish who is God. God means he is not like an ordinary person. No, he can be somebody who controls everything, and he even can display this universal form. So Arjuna beholds the Krishna's universal form with astonishment, hesitatingly begins to describe what he sees. Now he describes that we haven't gone through. Last week we'll go through that today. Arjuna, trembling, prays to Krishna's universal form. He trembles, he shakes. He gives special eyes to Arjuna so that he can see this universal form. Ordinary people in the Kurukshetra battlefield, all the Kauravas and Pandavas, including other Pandavas, they're not seeing this universal form. Only Arjuna is seeing this universal form because he has the special eyes given by Krishna. Arjuna actually begs his forgiveness for having previously acted in ignorance. The reason is Arjuna thought Krishna to be his friend, like any ordinary friend. He treated him like that. But he is far more than what an ordinary friend is. He is God himself. So sometimes, because as an ordinary friend, like anybody, he would call him by name, right? If you have a friend, you always, it's usual that you call him by name. That's how friendships are made, right? But now he realized Krishna is God, who is the source of everything, the cause of all causes. So he says, please forgive me because I acted in ignorance. Request to withdraw his universal form. He doesn't want to behold this form. Actually, devotees are not interested in the universal form of the Lord. Right? They are happy seeing the two-handed form of the Lord. Although Krishna is driving Arjuna's chariot, he pervades and supports the entire universe. Arjuna therefore wishes to see Krishna's all-pervading form. Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his universal form. Arjuna requests Krishna to reveal his universal form. Actually, yeah, it starts from here with a single fragment, and then after speaking all of this, he shows his universal form and various parts are described. After that, Krishna says, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support the entire universe. This whatever manifestation you are seeing, Arjuna, this is just but a minor fragment of myself. It's not my full self. It's just a minor fragment of my whole self. Arjuna wishes to see that all-pervasive form. Just give me a second here. Yeah. So we discussed this section, Arjuna's request and Krishna's description of the universal form last week. These are discussion last week. Now, next section is, it's an elaborate section, Sanjaya's description of the universal form. So all of this is witnessed by Arjuna. Arjuna was seeing this universal form. Luckily, by the mercy of Sanjaya's guru Vyasadeva, even Sanjaya is able to witness the universal form. So as he sees the form, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Sanjaya describes that universal form as he sees it. So let's read verses 9 to 31. Nachamam tani karmani nibadhanti dhanam jaya udasina vadasina ashaktam te. Please, one of you read the translation.
O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral.
So I think it is a continuation of previous verse. So, so Lord causes this creation, correct? The entire creation was done under the order of Lord. The whole cosmic order is under me. The whole cosmic order, meaning the planetary creation, the universal creation, and annihilation, all of that is under his plan, right? Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. So Krishna's will is enough to create and destroy the entire cosmic manifestation. It is like sometimes, you remember, like, if you have a guest in your home, okay, guest comes, and sometimes the husband just with his eyes signals his wife, for example, she is there around, to make something, to bring something to the guest or whatever, right? So just by the eye movements, he can get things done. So similarly, just by the will of the Lord, he doesn't need to do anything. The entire creation and annihilation is manifest. So that's how Krishna operates. Krishna has these unlimited potencies, which are always ready to serve him at any moment. His Kriya Shakti. There are so many energies of the Lord. And as soon as he desires, everything will be manifest before he realizes itself. So that's how powerful it is. Just like we also have certain abilities. Without our expression, sometimes things happen, right? So similarly, Lord has these unlimited energies that immediately act as per his will. So, but generally, whatever actions we perform, those will bind us in this world, right? If you do some good activities, you will get good karma. If you do bad activities, you will do bad karma. You will get bad karma. But whatever work is done, that never binds Krishna, meaning that never overpowers Krishna through karmic indebtedness. So Krishna says, I'm ever detached from all material activities, seated as the neutral. He is always detached from all the material activities. So he is like a Paramatma in the heart, and he is detached. So because ultimately the creation and the annihilation, all of this is done to facilitate the desires of the materialistic desires of the conditioned souls. We wanted to be in the material world and enjoy things. So Krishna is only a facilitator. He is not the cause of creation and maintenance and destruction of the universes. Right? So nothing. There is no action that binds him. For example, a king is there. A king gives, gives various orders. For example, he might order to kill a person sometimes. Right? Will king ever get punished because he is punishing somebody else? He will never. Right? King is the lawmaker of the country. So Krishna is the original source of all the, the modes of material nature and the creation and everything. So there is no way any of these activities bind Krishna. Right? That's what this point is. Maya jakshena prakriti.
Maya Jakshena Prakriti
Suyate sacharacharam.
Suyate
Characharam
Sacharacharam
Hetunanena kaunteya.
Hetunanena Kaunteya
Jagat parivartate.
Jagat
Jagat
Parivartate.
Parivartate.
Please read.
This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction. O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
So material nature, the material existence that we see around us, all the nature around us, right? That is actually, what did he say, Krishna? Maya jakshena prakriti. This entire material nature that you see, O Arjuna, it is under my superintendence. Okay? So material nature works according to the desire of Krishna. It's not going to ever work according to your desires. Okay? You may want something from this material world. You want this building, that thing, this thing, car, or whatever, right? But actually it works under the order of Lord, right? Suyate fasad jaracharam, right? This moving and non-moving beings, all of these are produced by material nature, right? So earth is the source of all the life in this world, for example, you can say, right? But earth itself is an energy of the Supreme Lord. That's what Krishna is saying, Maya jakshena prakriti, right? If you want to attain anything in this world, whom should you approach? You should approach Supreme Lord himself, because he is the original controller of this material energy or this material nature. Under its rule, Hetunanesa Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Under its rule. Under material nature's rule, right? So Krishna controls material nature controls the creation and existence of the all the living entities in this world, right? So Krishna, the material nature, the creation and annihilation is under the control of material nature, and nature is controlled by Krishna. So ultimately the controller is Krishna. So now Krishna speaks about people who do not understand his position. Actually, everything is under control of Krishna from what we discussed now. Now he says, Avajananti Mudha
Avajananti
Ajananti
Mudha
Mamudha
Manushim Tanumashritam
Sim Tanum Asritam
Param Bhavam
Param Ajannanto Param Bhavam
Ajananto
Ajannanto
Mama Bhuta Maheshwara
Maheshwaram Mama
Mama
Bhuta
Bhuta
Maheshwaram
Maheshwaram
Avajananti Mam Mudha. Mam means me. Okay, me. Avajananti. Jananti means knowing. Avajananti means not knowing. Avajananti Mam Mudha. Mudha means foolish people. Not knowing me, foolish people do what? Manushim Tanumashritam. Manushim means man, right? Man. Tanu means body, right? Ashritam. They think I can, like I am a human being like everybody else. Avajananti Mam Mudha. Foolish people who do not know me think that I have taken this human body. I am like one of them, right? But what do they don't know? Param Bhavam Ajananto. Param Bhavam means my transcendental nature. I am not just like one of you. I am Param Bhavam Ajananto. They do not know my transcendental nature. Ajananta means don't know. Param Bhavam means transcendental nature. Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram means I am the master of everything that exists in the world. Right? Mama, me. Bhuta, of everything. Maheshwaram, the supreme proprietor. I am the owner of everything that exists that you see. I am the greatest controller and the owner of everything that exists that you see here. Right? Avajananti Mamoda. Foolish people think I am just like human being. Oh, Arjuna, you know, they do not know my transcendental nature, and they do not know that I am the source of all the existence. Please read.
Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme lord of all that be.
You see clearly how Krishna is distinguishing himself from a regular human being. So regular human beings do not know, right? They can regular human beings do not know that, like they see Krishna like everybody else. He has two eyes, two legs. He's of, say in those days he was 7 feet, right? Krishna is 7 feet tall. 7 feet is not too tall in those days. Actually, some Bhima was 8 feet in height. So he's like, he has it, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, like everybody else. So yeah, maybe he's some great historical person, or maybe some demigod like Indra, Varuna, Vayu. But he's, after all, he's one among us. He's not God. That's what most of the people were thinking when even Krishna was there in this world. So here Krishna is clearly distinguished himself as not like one of the people in the world. He's actually the supreme Lord, right? They do not know my transcendental nature as the supreme Lord of all that be. I'm the greatest person in this existence. I'm the controller. Mama Bhuta Maheshwara. I'm the supreme proprietor. Right? So if I'm the proprietor of everything, whatever is there belongs to him. Right? You think Microsoft belongs to Bill Gates? No, actually, in ultimatum, it belongs to who? Who does it belong? Amazon.com. Whom does it belong? Ultimately, anybody answer? Unmute yourself and answer.
Belongs to Krishna.
Exactly. Krishna is the supreme. You think your salary is given by Amazon or Microsoft or Facebook? No,
These
actually,
are mediators.
they are simply some agents. After their time is out, they're gone from this world. They don't possess anything anymore, right? Bill Gates may possess this company called Microsoft for a period of 50 years. He will die and become zero, and and somebody else will take it over. But ultimately, everything that exists belongs to Krishna. Krishna's ownership of Microsoft or Amazon, nobody can take it away. Ultimately, it belongs to him, right? So understand this fact, right? Nobody is actually giving salary. It's ultimately the arrangement of the Lord. These people are just middlemen, but they are not the proprietor, first of all, and they are not the maintainers of you, right? So everything in the existence belongs to Krishna. The big purport. But this verse very clearly establishes the position of Krishna as the supreme proprietor of everything, right? So many people have many understandings of who is Krishna, right? Some people think impersonal Brahman is the highest truth, right? They call it Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is the highest truth. But as per this verse, actually the supreme source is actually Krishna. And many people think, oh, Krishna is just a extraordinary human being. He's not an extraordinary human being. He is God himself, very clearly defined is as per this verse. He's not one among us. Definitely is not one among us. He's the supreme source of everything. So now he's just blasting the people who do not really understand Krishna's position. A lot of people, when we teach Bhagavad Gita, sometimes a lot of people complain, why do you so much focus on Krishna? Just focus on the teachings. But actually the main teaching is the position of Krishna here, and how you should relate to Krishna. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, what did Arjuna do? He surrendered his life to Krishna. And he says, whatever you say, whatever in this chapter itself it comes, whatever you say, I'm just going to follow. Karishye vachanam tava. Whatever you. So if your understanding is different from what Arjuna comes to, what is the use of your learning of Bhagavad Gita? Correct? So a lot of people take away Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and teach Bhagavad Gita as if, but the main theme is lost, and nobody really gets the essence of Bhagavad Gita. This is the reason a lot of people do not get anything out of study of Bhagavad Gita, because they miss the essential point. They miss the understanding of position of Krishna, and how Jiva can perfect their life. Unfortunately, there are thousands of versions of Bhagavad Gita, and there are thousands of people who are teaching Bhagavad Gita. But unless you are taught in a parampara, you cannot come to the highest conclusion, right? So we're all privileged because we are learning these lessons in a Guru Parampara. In a Guru Parampara, we learn the truth as it is, right? So we get the highest benefit of this knowledge. Moga Shakumoga Karmano.
Moksha
Moga Rakshasim Saiva.
Rakshasam asuram sarva
Prakritim Mohinim Shrita.
Prakritim Mohinim
munim
Shrita.
shrita.
Yeah, please.
Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated.
Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In the deluded mogasha moga karma, right? So some materialistic people, right? They do not understand Krishna being the supreme controller, right? They think they are the controller of this world. You know? They think everything is happening according to my desire. You know? People get puffed up when they become very famous in this world, you know, for whatever they are. It could be politicians, it could be actors, movie actors, or or even sportsmen. When they get to the highest position, they think there is nobody better than them, right? Those who are thus bewildered or attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In the deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Right? So they think so many things, I can get by whatever I want. So many things these materialistic people think, they perform so many fruitive activities. They think, they can get this, that. They hope to get liberated also, But unfortunately, if you have demonic and atheistic views, what is an atheistic view? Atheistic view means thinking that there is no God in control in this existence, thinking that they are the highest and human being, everything is created by human being, all this technological advancement, God is not in control. These are all demonic views. A lot of people today speak in this way. In the deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and culture of knowledge are all defeated. Because the point is, they miss the original point that Krishna is the supreme source and supreme controller of everything.
One question.
Go ahead, bro.
So Krishna is the expansion of Vishnu, right, Prabhu? Or
No.
is it different?
No. Vishnu is a so the category of the life is Vishnu means this, Vishnu is not a person actually. Vishnu is a term referring to all the incarnations of God. Okay, so it's called Vishnu Tattva. Tattva means the nature, right? Vishnu Tattva means all that belongs to godly nature, right? So Rama, or Narsingadev, Vamanadev, all of these are all incarnates of God, right? There are various types of incarnations. But who is Krishna? Krishna is not an avatar, right? So
right.
all of these people are designated Vishnu, Narayana. So these are all various forms, and their nature is called Vishnu Tattva, right? And our nature is called Jiva Tattva. Jiva Tattva means the Jiva, the living entity called Jiva, right? So we are minute. Lord is Vibhu, right? Vishnu Tattvas, right? So Vishnu is a general terminology for referencing to God. Okay, he is not God. Okay, Vishnu Tattva, it's a Tattva, it's a nature. And when it comes to incarnations, there are various incarnations, right? There are Manvantra avataras, there are Leela avataras, there are Guna avataras. Guna avataras are actually Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. Okay, and there are Manvantra avataras, right? And so there are, in this way, there are many incarnations of Lord that are ever existing in this creation, right? But what is the difference between all these incarnations like Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, or
Varaha.
Varaha. So what is the difference between these and Krishna? So it is mentioned in Jayadeva Goswami's, let me open that song. Jayadeva Goswami or even Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll show you a few verses to. So let me share my screen. Ete cham sakala pumsha Krishna Bhagavan Swayam Indrarivyakulam lokam mridyanti yuge yuge. So in the third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, various incarnations were mentioned. Vamana, Madhusudana, Trivikrama, Rama, Narsingha, Varaha, all these incarnations were mentioned. Matsya, Kurma. Right? And after giving explanation of all of these incarnations, Vyasadeva, I think it is spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, I think at this point. So all of the above mentioned incarnations, after describing all those, right, are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But what does it say here? Read this line. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All these incarnations like Rama, Narsingha, they're all expansions of Krishna. They're all coming from Krishna. Plenary portions of the portions. Sometimes portions come, they become incarnations, or within the portion there are further portions come, they're also incarnations. But Krishna is the original incarnation. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. All of these incarnations, right? Incarnations like Rama and all, they appear on planets whenever there is a disturbance created by the atheistic people. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Right? Lord himself incarnates to protect the theists. So this is Dashavatara from Gita Govinda by Jayadeva Goswami. Yeah. Pralaya payodi jale drita savan asivedam vihitava hitra chitra makhedam keshava dhrita meena sharira jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare. So like this, so this is Meena Sharira. Oh Lord, you have incarnated to protect the world in the form of Meena, right? In the form of Kurma, you destroyed so and so, and then you took the form of Sukara Rupa, and then you took the form of Narahari, Narsingadev, and you actually Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa, you killed the Hiranyakashipu, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Chalayasi Vikramane Bali Madhuta Vamana Padana Kanira Janita Jana Pavana Keshava Dhrita Nara Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare. In the form of Vamana, you protected, or you actually covered the three, in 3 steps you covered entire existence, and you actually destroyed Bali. And actually he liberated Bali, so like that. So all these incarnations are described here. No? Bhrigupati as Bhrigupati Rupa, as Lord Rama. No? So he killed who? Dashamukha Mauli Balim Ramaniya, right? So he killed Ravanashura, right? And then in another form, Haladara Rupa. And then he incarnated as Lord Buddha, right? And so, and then towards the end of Kali Yuga, which is again like 3 lakh years from now, more than 3,40,000 years. So you will come in the form of Kalki Incarnation, right? So, and what does he do? Mlecha Nivaha Nidane Kalayashi Karavalam, right? He's going to destroy the Mlechas. Keshavadrita Dasha Vidarupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So he speaks about all these incarnations, but then he says Krishna, as Krishna is the actually original source of all these incarnations. That verse.
Prabhu, a little bit confusing here. So we have Mahavishnu, Kshirodayaka Vishnu, and Paramatma as in our heart. So how do we understand between these two, Mahavishnu, Lord Mahavishnu and Lord Krishna?
Yeah. So Mahavishnu is an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. He's like a 4th level God, actually. So in the incarnations, so actually there was I'll show you, there is, so this is all described in Srimad Bhagavatam and many other scriptures. This, the incarnations structure. You know? So here you see in the last verse, okay, in the 12th verse, can you read, Sagar Prabhu, this line?
Which one, Prabhu?
This line.
Okay. O Lord Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, who appear in the forms of these 10 incarnations.
Right there. So what does he say? You are the source of all incarnations. You appear as all these incarnations. Right? Very clear. Yeah. Next.
In the form of Matsya, you rescue the Vedas, and as Kurma, you bear the Mandara mountain on your back. As Varaha, you lift the earth with your tusk. And in the form of Narasimha, you tear open the chest of the Daitya Hiranyakashipu. In the form of Vamana, you trick the Daitya king Bali by asking him for only 3 steps of land. And then you take away the whole universe from him by expanding your steps. As Parasurama, you slay all of the wicked Kshatriyas, and as Ramachandra, you conquer the Rakshasa king Ravana. In the form of Balrama, you carry a plow with which you subdue the wicked and draw toward you the river Yamuna. As Lord Buddha, you show compassion toward all the living beings suffering in this world. And at the end of the Kali Yuga, you appear as Kalki to bewilder the Milechas.
Degraded low class.
Okay.
So Kalki Incarnation is the last. So he clearly mentioned, that you are the one who came in all these 10 incarnations. Right?
Who is talking, Prabhu? This
is Jayadeva Goswami. He's in a Vaishnava Acharya. So this is not, of course, this is in a song. We all very famously see these 10 incarnations, right? A lot of people are aware of this. Not only this, even Srimad Bhagavatam, we saw in this verse, right? Yete Chamsa Kalapumsa, this also talks about the incarnations. All the incarnations were discussed in this, right? In this 3rd chapter. So Krishna is not one of the incarnation of Vishnu or anything like that. So this is all, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Okay. So you see here. So actually in Bhagavatam 3rd chapter, 22 incarnations are mentioned. Okay. So you see, in the millennium of Rishis, Lord accepts the third incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narada. Narada Muni is also an incarnation of Lord. In the 4th incarnation, he became Nara and Narayana, right? The twin sons of wife of King Dharma. In the 5th incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. In the 6th incarnation of the Purusha, was the son of the sage Atri. Atri and Anasuya. They are the name of the Lord is not given. So there are so many incarnations. The 7th incarnation was called Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. The 7th. The 8th incarnation is King Rishabha. Rishabhadev is a very famous story is there in Bhagavatam. In the 9th incarnation, Lord prayed for this. Prutu, King Prutu is 9th incarnation. When there is complete inundation, he took the form of Matsya, right? The whole world was deep within water. Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected the Vaivasvata Manu, keeping him above. And the 11th incarnation, Lord took the form of tortoise. This is Kurma, and was holding the Mandrachala mountain. So in the 12th incarnation, Lord appeared as Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari is the medicinal Lord. Right? And he also incarnated as Mohini Murti, charming beauty of a woman. He incarnated as a woman. Right? And in the 14th incarnation, Lord appeared as Narsimha Dev, who bifurcated the strong body of atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just like a carpenter pierces a cane. In the 15th incarnation, Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana Dev. In the 16th incarnation of Godhead, Lord as Bhrugupati annihilated the administrative class Kshatriyas 21 times. This is Parshurama. And in the 17th incarnation, Lord Sri Vyasadeva appeared. Vyasadeva is also an incarnation. So in the womb of Satyavati through Parshuramani. In the 18th incarnation, Lord appeared as King Rama, Lord Ramachandra. Very famous incarnation. Right? Lord Ramachandra. In the 19th incarnation and 20th incarnation, Lord advented himself. You see the difference, the word uses? You see, Lord appeared as Rama here. You see the word? It's a subtle difference. Lord advented himself as Lord Balarama and Lord Krishna in the family of Krishna. Right? Actually, Balarama is an immediate expansion of Krishna, and Lord himself is Krishna, actually. Thus, he removed the burden of earth. Thus, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, Lord will appear as Lord Buddha. So this is a future incarnation. When Bhagavatam was given, all these incarnations are already done. But this incarnation hasn't appeared. So the Buddha avatar appeared in the beginning of Kali Yuga. So that is mentioned here. Will appear, Lord will appear as Lord Buddha. The son of Anjana in the province of Gaya. He is appeared in Gaya. Just for the purpose of deluding those who are envious of the faithful theist. You see, this is a very, very tricky incarnation. Buddha teaches ahimsa paramo dharma. He doesn't teach the worship of Lord himself. Right? Buddha's main teaching is ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa is the highest truth, but actually ahimsa is not the highest truth. At that time, Brahmanas degraded and were killing on animals in the name of sacrifice, fire sacrifices. So he wanted to stop all the Brahmanas who are killing animals in the name of Vedic rituals. He said, I don't believe in Vedas. Buddha incarnation. Right? So he deluded and drove people away from Vedas. Actually, he took away Vedas from theistic life completely. He's a God, but he took away Vedas because people are misusing Vedas in the name of God. And, so it's a very special incarnation. Okay. Thereafter, at the conjunction of two yugas, Yuga Sandhya, between Kali Yuga and the next Satya Yuga, the Lord of creation will take his birth as Kalki Incarnation. So this is going to come in the future in about 40,000 years from now. Kalki Incarnation that is being proclaimed now is not really Kalki Incarnation. It's a bogus Kalki Incarnation. Do not believe this Kalki avatar so and so was there. It's not. It's bogus. And become the son of Vishnu Yasha. The parents are also described everywhere. You see, son of Anjana. Buddha is son of Anjana. In the province of place is also described. So scriptures tell everything that will happen in the future, that will happen in the past. Everything is going to be described. So when he appears after 340,000 years, he is going to become the son of Vishnu Yasha. At this time, almost all the rulers of the earth will have degenerated into plunderers. Even today, they're already acting like plunderers, correct? They collect so much tax, right? So, O Brahmana, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible source of water. Okay? So these are all various incarnations described here in Bhagavatam 21 incarnations.
Yeah, but how do you understand the capabilities of Lord Vishnu and his opulences, and how is it different from Krishna, Prabhu?
So in Nectar of Devotion, the opulences of Krishna were described in comparison with other incarnations actually. So there it describes how Krishna has, so for example, when he incarnated as Lord Ramachandra, okay, so there are various relations in which the jiva can relate to God, right? So in the incarnation of as Lord Ramachandra, for example, he established ideal human life, how a human being should lead his life, right? He acted just like a human being, and he taught that principle, right? So in each of the incarnation, Lord exhibits only a partial potencies. He doesn't exhibit full potencies. For example, he as Lord Narsingadev, he showed the valor, the supreme power of the Lord, right? And as Lord Ramachandra also, he exhibited certain things. But when it comes to Krishna, he exhibits far more capabilities than all these other incarnations. For example, no other incarnation shows the universal form of the Lord, right? So they're all equivalent. It's like the difference between incarnations of Lord and Krishna is, so one is the original lamp. If you suppose you have Diwali, right? You are celebrating Diwali. So there is this original lamp, and you take that lamp and lighten up all these other lamps. Once you light up, all the lamps are equivalent in lighting. But before it is lighted up, but one is the source of all the other lights, correct? So that source light is like Krishna. All these incarnations are rivulets, are coming from the ocean of the Supreme Lord. They're all equivalent in terms of potencies, but they exhibit certain capabilities, and certain incarnations do not exhibit all those capabilities. For example, in the form of Krishna, Lord performed wonderful sweet pastimes as a covered boy, right? Enchanting pastimes. You won't find such pastimes in Narsingadev's pastimes, for example, or the Mahavishnu pastimes. They only exhibit very limited pastimes. They're all sourced in one, but they also act differently. When when Lord Krishna came to this world 5,000 years ago, Mahavishnu did a trick so that Krishna can come and see him. He wanted to have the darshan of Krishna. Okay, they are all sourced in Krishna, but they are also fascinated by Krishna. Okay, all the other incarnations. So when so Mahavishnu, he tricks and Lord Krishna takes Arjuna actually to show Mahavishnu to him in that pastime, and Lord Krishna goes there and bows down to Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu was so pleased just to see the Lord. And within the material creation, again, there will be different rules. When Lord Krishna comes here, sometimes he bows down to Yudhishthira Maharaj, who is the eldest of Pandavas, who is elder to Krishna. So Lord Krishna just bow down to Yudhishthira Maharaj doesn't mean Yudhishthira is more powerful than Krishna, right? Similarly, Mahavishnu, when Arjuna and Krishna goes to Mahavishnu and they both bow down to Mahavishnu, it doesn't mean that Mahavishnu is superior to Krishna. Mahavishnu was so pleased to see Krishna when he goes there. So it's like that. But actually Mahavishnu, Krishna's first expansion is Balarama. From Balarama comes, the what is it? The Chatur, the 4 incarnations, right? Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Shankarshan, and one more. So there are 4 incarnations. From the 4 incarnations, again, one of them, the Shankarshan, expands into Narayana. From Narayana comes Mahavishnu. Okay, so there is a 4-level, 4th level. So Mahavishnu is, the purpose of Mahavishnu is the creation of all the material existence. From his body, many universes come out in the form of golden globulates, right? And they expand further and manifest into universes, right? So he's the source of all the material existence. Doesn't mean that he is the supreme Lord. He is actually an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Krishna. 4th level incarnate is Mahavishnu. Okay, so these are described in Srimad Bhagavatam in a lot of depth. Okay, we'll get there. When we get there, I actually, there is a slide that describes all these incarnations. I don't have it here. Okay, I don't have it for you to show.
Sure, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, so Krishna is not an incarnation. That's the main point we should understand. Okay.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
Prabhuji, I have a question. Like, so when we all know that at the beginning of the universe, Mahavishnu was the one who created all the universe and all, right? So after that, from whatever we have studied or whatever stories we were told, Krishna, it comes only during the time of Dwapar Yuga. So I have this question in mind always, like, because the universe was created by Mahavishnu, right? So why don't we worship only Mahavishnu? Because he is the beginner of everything. But Krishna comes later part in the later yugas, right? So yeah, that's the confusion we have, Prabhuji.
So Krishna came in Dwapar Yuga of, this current Chatur Yuga doesn't mean that that is the beginning of Krishna. Okay, first thing. So Krishna was ever existing. Okay, for example, there is a Brahma Samhita at the beginning of creation. Okay, when Lord Brahma, who is born, from Mahavishnu in the lotus feet, in the lotus flower, and he meditates on the Lord. After meditating for many thousands of years, he gets the idea of his duty. Okay, what is his duty? Is to do secondary creation. So at that time, he offers wonderful prayers to the Lord, before he embarks on the job of creating the secondary creation of the 14 planetary system, Atala, Sutala, Patala, Talatala, Rasatala. So in this way, like, there are so many planetary systems he is about to create. Before that, he offers his beautiful prayers called Brahma Samhita, the prayers of Lord Brahma. In that prayers, he mentions the position of all the various incarnations, because he understood, he gets the relation of who is who, right? So in that, he, the prayers, the Brahma creation is far before, all these incarnations came in, all these Chatur Yugas and all these things came, right? At that time also, he prays to Govinda, Govinda means Krishna. So Krishna, do not think he is, he just came in this, in this Dwapar Yuga, in this current cycle, and before Dwapar Yuga, it is Lord Rama, and before that, Matsya, Korma. No, actually Krishna, it's just, it's just like an entrance door. Krishna is ever existing, and he was, going around in various planets and, incarnating as per time and, circumstances. At this point, he comes to our earthly planet. Doesn't mean that that is the beginning. So people are worshipping Krishna far before. Even Brahma was worshipping at the beginning of creation. And that was like millions and millions and millions of years before, the incarnation of Krishna currently took. And he is referring to Govinda or Krishna in those prayers. So Krishna was ever existing. It's just that he came, so everything is operating. So all the Mahavishnu, all of these is operating, is like an expansion of Krishna. Krishna is the original source, and he's been there from time immemorial. There is no beginning, there is no time that you can put around that. So time factor is conspicuous in spiritual existence. So Krishna is not just, this current cycle of Chatur Yuga. He is there forever. It's just that he manifests. He time and again comes in various at various moments. He comes once in a day of Brahma. Okay, into this earthly planet. He visits Earth once in a day of Brahma. And you know how old is Brahmaji right now? Anybody knows? He is 50 years, currently exactly 50 years right now. So in his one day of Brahma, you know how many Chatur Yugas are there? 1000 Chatur Yugas. 1000 Chatur Yugas is one day of Brahma. His night is also equivalent to 1000 Chatur Yugas. 12 hours of Brahma in our cycle is equivalent to, 12 hours equal to 1000 Chatur Yugas. Chatur Yuga means, what are they? Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga. So like this, the Chatur Yugas, there are thousands of Chatur Yugas form one day of Brahma, and he lives for 100 years. Okay, and he is already 50 years old. 50 means around 50,000 Chatur Yugas. Chatur Yugas, I'm not talking. So which means 50,000 multiplied by 4 is equal to 200,000. 200,000 Yugas have passed since the beginning, since the birth of Brahmaji. At the beginning of his life, he offered these prayers to Govinda. Yeah, so I'll show you those prayers actually. Brahma Samhita. So before 200,000 Yuga cycles, Brahma is offering these prayers to Krishna. What does the first verse say? Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin. He is the prime cause of all causes. Is that not sufficient to understand the position of Krishna? And this is a prayer offered by Brahmaji, Lord Brahma, at the beginning of his creation. Okay, so this is before his 50 years. Now he is already 50th year. Krishna comes about 365 times in a single year into this particular planet. Okay, so cosmic cycle is at a very, very high level. Okay, it's not easy to comprehend. We are like, a small insect that lives for a few hours. The lifetime of every living entity is, is way different, correct? There are living entities just live for a day. There are living entities that live for a 100 years. So every jiva has its own life cycle, right? And 20 years for cow is like 100 years for human being, correct? So in that lifetime, it experiences, giving birth to children, and so many children it produces. All its life cycle is spent in just 20 years. It's as good as 100 years for us, right? And there are some trees which live for say 5,000 years. So time operates differently in different life forms. So, and the life of Brahmaji is much far longer than we understand, can imagine. Okay, it's in trillions of years. And this Brahmaji, the whole life of Brahma is one breath of Mahavishnu. In one breath of Mahavishnu, the Brahmaji comes and he also goes back within the same breath. So for Mahavishnu, it is just one breath, and that is expanded as the entire lifetime of Brahma, 100 years, which is 4 trillion and 430 billion years. 4 trillion, that is one lifetime of Brahma. And within that lifetime of Brahma, he lives 100 years, and each year is 365 days, and in each day there are 1,000 Chaturyugas. So it is a mega cycle. The time scale is far higher, right here. So that's how it is. So Krishna is not just a person, Godhead born in this current cycle of Chaturyuga. So that understanding is very, very scoped down understanding. He's actually he's there from the beginning. You see. So this is prayer offered by Lord Brahmaji in the beginning of creation, which is like 200,000 incarnations ahead, or yugas, cycles ahead, right? So see, he belongs to Gokula. All of these expand, has thousands of petals and a corolla like that of lotus sprouted from his part of his infinitary aspect, the whole of the leaves. And it's a full description of the planet where Krishna lives. This is all given in Brahma Samhita. Okay, let's end the class here. I have to leave for temple. There are wonderful sessions conducted in the temple right now by His Grace Gauranga Prabhu is here. He's here for another day. You can connect to the temple website. I'll send the link of the class. I'll be there in like 10 minutes there. We have a very nice class. So I encourage you to join the conference call and join on the YouTube link, and here he's going to discuss Lord Jagannath pastimes. Okay, I'll share the link. You can all attend the class. Okay, thank you all very much. I have to leave immediately now. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
It is clear now.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.